Hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna be playing Super Smash Bros. Crusade. It's a new, it's a new, it's a new project that's basically like 2D sprite Super Smash Bros. With a bunch of random characters. It's like a fan project. It's one of the, like Mega Man. That's awesome, right? Mega Man in a Smash Bros. Game. So, I just wanted to talk about some of the new stuff that's going on. Like, I got a whole bunch of games. Like, for example, at my birthday, I got a $50 gift card to Best Buy, and I used it to go buy Borderlands, the Gearbox game. It's actually really neat. Gearbox makes a lot of good, first-person shooters. Now that I noticed that, because they made the original Half-Life add-ons, and they made Duke Nukem Forever, which actually isn't that good. They made the Half-Life add-ons, which were like the ones Opposing Force and Blue Shift. That's what they were. And I actually have both of those now. I just haven't played them because I got stuck on like one puzzle, but I fixed it. But then I ran out of ammo, so I was like, there's no point. Oh, why'd I walk into that? Um, the other game I got, some of the other games I've been playing are Rusty Hearts, which is this awesome free to play game by Perfect World Entertainment. That's what they're called. They are really good because they make a lot of good games, and this one is probably one of the only ones I like. Like the other ones are stereotypical like fantasy MMOs, but this one is just really neat because it's like a brawler, and it's really cool. It's basically like Devil May Cry meets what's the other one I was thinking of? It's like Devil May Cry meets Dungeon Fighter online. It's really cool. It's like there are these three characters. One's a werewolf, and one's a vampire, and oh my gosh. And the other one is a witch, and I basically picked the werewolf, and he's really cool, because he attacks a lot like Nero from Devil May Cry, and that's why I think of Devil May Cry, because I played Devil May Cry. The only ones I played are, 4 and 3. And in, 4, there's a guy named Nero with the arm thing, and oh my god, that was so cool. I'm sorry, that was just odd. There's a guy named Nero with the demon arm, and he attacks. The werewolf actually has this claw thing, and he attacks like just like Nero. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's like almost uncanny. The other characters, the vampire's a lot like Virgil because he just teleports around everywhere, and the witch, I don't know, she's just lame. I haven't even seen any real gameplay footage of her, and she doesn't seem that interesting. Honestly, she isn't. She seems kind of boring compared to the werewolf and the vampire. It's like lame. Um, then I have Dragon's Nest. Dragon's Nest is in open beta now. I didn't even notice until like yesterday that it was in open beta, and now I'm sad. That was terrible. I didn't even notice it was in open beta until yesterday, and now I'm starting to play it, and I think it's pretty good. It's not perfect, because for some reason I think Rusty Hearts is more fun than Dragon's Nest, but that's just me. I mean, for some reason the gameplay looks really cool and the graphics are good, but for some reason it just, it's just repetitive. I mean, I think that, sure, Rusty Hearts can get repetitive too, but the style is really unique. Unlike, Dragon's Nest, it's not really a unique, it's not really a unique game, is what I mean. Like, at least Rusty Hearts has like a unique flavor, but Dragon's Nest doesn't, and it's just the same, but with a different style of gameplay. And I don't really think that's enough. I mean, I've seen a bunch of like chibi kind of like Eden Eternal. Eden Eternal was a lot like that. It had its own like colorful style, but this doesn't even look the same. I mean, sure, it has like it has more voice actors and has more like stuff like that. It has more polish and quality than Rusty Hearts. But Rusty Hearts has a lot of cool animation, like in the characters, and a lot of cool dialogue. This one really still has some cool dialogue and some funny dialogue, but Rusty Hearts just has that flavor that I really like, and I can really see Rusty Hearts going places, and I really hope it's successful because it really is a good game. But Dragon's Nest, it's run by Nexon, and I hate Nexon, which is kind of biased, but still, I really don't like Nexon because I've played a lot of their games before, and they've let me down. They've let the community down in general. Not really me, but they've let the community down to a point where I don't really trust them as a company. Even though for some reason they were marketed as one of the most innovative companies, and like there was a poll that there's a article they linked to their website, and it was basically this stupid well, it wasn't stupid because they put Zynga at the top, and I thought that made sense. Zynga, the company who made Farmville. They Oh no, why didn't they change that? Oh, there we go. At least they changed it a little bit. Stone Fist. Eat my chill punch. Oh, damn it, you dodged it. I hate you. I don't need your stupid peaches. I have fire. They posted this poll. The coolest thing about this Dragon's Nest is the gameplay is really like new. It's just really fresh. Like it's different than all the other MMOs, but I don't really know what it can do with that. I mean, I've just been playing, I played the same dungeon like 3 times, and even though the gameplay is fresh, like, it's really repetitive and boring, and it's really easy to win. So far, the game has been really easy. Like, I got triple S on, like, hard mode, so it's not, I don't think the game is challenging enough. But then again, I'm playing on, like, the noob areas. And I don't really, I mean, still, like, if you're gonna get a hard option, make it somewhat hard, because for some reason, I'm not getting challenged at all. Even when, don't make a hard mode for a dungeon if you're not gonna make it, like, legitimately difficult, because I still got, like, triple S, I can get triple S just by pressing, just the attack button, because the archer who I'm playing actually has like very strong like range, so I can just stand like a foot away from someone, spam attack, and I can kill everyone like within seconds. I mean, I guess I did upgrade a lot of my gear, so I guess I'm just over leveled or whatever, but yeah, that's the explanation. I'm just over leveled, and I over leveled my gear and whatnot. But that's the game. They shouldn't really give you the option. They make it so easy to enchant your stuff. Like, I can get up, the system is you can get up to +6 for like 6 copper, which is not a lot. Like, you can get that like so easily. I upgraded like all my weapons for probably like, or no, you can't enchant your weapons. Sorry. I upgrade all my armor for like 6 copper each up to like +6 enchantment, which is ridiculous. But the thing is that after you get up to +6, there's a risk that your item might get destroyed. So you really don't want to, take a risk. And I did fail a bunch of times while I was getting up to those +6, but it had no effect. All it meant was I lost 1 copper. Oh, big deal. So yeah, it is a real. I like that system that if you go, you can get up to +6 really easily, but then once after that, you have to like take that risk of are you willing to risk the item getting destroyed? Pretty sure. I was thinking about getting stuff out the cash shop, but it's an open beta. I'm gonna wait till like the full game comes out before I get the cash shop stuff. But Rusty Hearts is such a good game that I was thinking about getting the cash shop items right away, and that's something that you really have to make your player want to do. Um, so I'll talk about what happened at my birthday party. I invited all my friends over and we played some Quest, which is the game I'm working on. I still want to do some testing for it, and I'm gonna work on another play test soon. I was I was playing Quest with a bunch of people, and it's really not built for like 6 people. Honestly, that's why I was really angry with the way it turned out, because the game is really only built for like 3 people. So when you double that, I have to spend so much time on each person's turn just getting everything set up, and it's just not it's not fun when you have 6 people who all want to have their turn, and I just can't give it to them until the other guy's done. And it takes a lot of time because I want to try and work out the finer details of every turn, and I want to make sure they can do what they want to do, and it's kind of difficult when everyone has to take their turn 6 different times. It's like very, very troubling. And that's why I don't really feel like I succeeded with that test. Because, I obviously failed, because I feel like that no one enjoyed it. Even they can lie to me all they want, but I don't really think, they really liked it, which is a problem. But it's something I have to get over because, you know, I still have more testing. The game's not done. And, that's the way it is. I still need to test it. You need good play testing. The next thing I want to talk about is I started getting into Warmachine. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I'm probably going to do a whole video just talking about Warmachine, so, I can't really explain it all here because it's such a complicated game. It's a new kind of game, something I'm new to. It's something that I'm really liking so far, and I really want to just dig into it, and that's what I'm doing. I might even be going to a game today. Yeah, today's Friday. If the store, because the weird thing is they have these leagues. Like, they don't let people just show up. You have to be like, oh, I could have done Raging Demon right there. I guess I was just spamming B and then I did the super move. Now I'm really angry because I wanted to do Raging Demon on Wario. That would have sounded awesome. I did a Raging Demon on Wario. Like, what kind of game are you playing? Oh, I'm playing Super Smash Bros. Crusade. Warmachine, I want to spend a whole video talking about it because it's a war game. It's a game a kind of game I haven't really, played that much of, and it's really interesting to talk about. And I'd rather just do like a whole bunch of tutorial videos to explain it. I hate how the maximum tomato in this game doesn't heal all your damage. It just does some. That's so ridiculous because that's not what a maximum tomato does. It heals like 20%. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is I saw a bunch of movies. The movies I saw since Rise of the Planet of the Apes is coming out. Me and my mom, we ran a Planet of the Apes marathon. We watched all the original 70s movies, and there are actually 5 of them. You think, oh yeah, just Planet of the Apes, the one with Charlton Heston. No, there's like 5 of them. I'll try and name them all. There's There's Planet of the Apes, which is the original one. Then there's Beneath the Planet of the Apes with like the mutant humans, whatever, that like were under the Planet of the Apes the whole time. And then there's yeah, I'm gonna spoil the movies because you know they're that old. So if you don't want to get spoilers for the original Planet of the Apes '70s movies that aren't even gonna matter because they're gonna reboot the franchise again, you know, like I'll get into that. Um, in the second movie, you know, there's this bomb that goes off that blows up the whole world except the two apes from the first movie, the two scientists, escape the planet on like Taylor, who's the astronaut who crashed. They fix his spaceship and they take off, and then the atomic wave or whatever from the bomb creates like this rip in time or something and sends them backwards. They don't even show the scene. Like they just talk about it. Like, oh yeah, there was this rip and everything was shiny, and I'm like, okay, well you obviously don't have a budget to show the scene, and that was cool. You know, you just have to you have to infer a bunch of stuff. These movies like were so vague back then, and I thought that was okay. You know, they were vague, and I think that's part of what made them cool movies is that you get to think about it on your own. Then the third one is, you know, where they escape is called Escape from the Planet of the Apes. The fourth one is basically a lot like the new one, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's called Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and that's the one where the monkeys are being used as like slaves and whatever. You know, we don't really use monkeys as slaves, but they came up with this stupid excuse that, like, oh yeah, a virus killed all the cats and dogs in the world, and then we started getting apes as pets, but then we figured out that they were really strong, so we used them as slave labor. And there was all, you know, the cool thing about this series is there's a lot of like um social overtones. Like a lot of it makes me think of like immigrant workers and whatnot when they're talking about the apes. But the really weird thing that I wish I could do a riff tracks of just that movie is that they talk about the apes like they have this PA system throughout the whole city. I know it's the focus of the movie, but the weird thing is the humans, all they do on these PA systems is talk about, yes, ape riot in section 5C. Like they talk about nothing but what's going on with these apes. Like ape control, call the restaurant center. They're having a outbreak of ape activity, like all this junk on the PA system about nothing but apes. It seems like the humans care more about the apes than like, you know, if there was a PA system, maybe there'd be like news or something. No, it's just ape news, like all the time, 24/7, just ape reports. Like, is that all that's on the police scanners? Just like, oh, there's a robbery in whatever. No, 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 no. There's no robbery. That doesn't matter. All that matters is about the apes that are rebelling and whatever. So then this one ape, you know, who's actually named Caesar, which is probably where they got the inspiration to call the new ape Caesar. He, you know, overthrows the because he's like one of the smart apes. Because in the third movie, yeah, the third movie. In the third movie, the two apes who escaped actually had a child, and they tried to kill him, but he escaped by hiding in a circus. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, I know. And so the ape he has like smart. He's smart like all the other apes in the first Planet of the Apes. So then he rebels against the humans who are using the apes as slaves, and then he makes the Planet of the Apes. But in the what was that? Oh, I did like. He rebels and he makes the Planet of the Apes. But then there's a fifth movie that's called Battle for the Planet of the Apes, where they show pretty much nothing new except that like they show that the humans, because in the first movie they show the humans being treated like apes. This one, the humans and the apes kind of live equally. I also saw Captain America. I don't really have much to say about it, because I usually like being negative over positive. Really, when there's positive stuff going on, I really don't have anything to say. I liked the Black Skull. No, Red Skull. I like the Red Skull makeup a lot. And back when I was into comics, I actually really wanted to read Captain America, but I never did. But I still know some stuff. Like I knew. Okay, spoiler alert! Do not keep watching the video if you haven't seen Captain America because well, it's not really an important plot point, but it's still a plot point. That happens in the comics too. Bucky dies, except in the comic books, Bucky actually had a costume, which is kind of lame because it's more like what's his name? Steve. Yeah, Steve Rogers. I was thinking of Buck Rogers or something like that. I was thinking about that. But the sad thing is that Steve is more like the little kid, and then Bucky is more like he's like this. He's like the bigger guy, but in the movie, he's not really even a major character. So I didn't really feel bad when he died. I would have liked it if they actually gave him the costume or something, and then they would actually it would have more of an impact. Like you would think that he was a superhero too, and that he died, like that. I thought that would have had more of an impact, but they didn't really need to dress him up. I mean, he was still a friend of, Steve, and they established that in the movie. So I don't feel like it made an impact. Like Steve, it makes an impact on, but to me, it just doesn't seem like it makes an impact on me as a viewer. Like I just feel like, oh yeah, no, he's dying, and I kind of knew he was gonna die anyway. So I guess that's the reason why I didn't care. But it's kind of weird. Like I feel like I should care about it, but I really don't. When he dies, I'm just like, oh, okay. But I guess it's only because I knew beforehand. But they should have tried to do something to make it more like. They should have tried something that would make it more matter more in the context of the movie. My favorite joke in the whole movie is the one where he's dressed up as Captain America and whatnot, like the old classic Captain America, like as a nod to the original comics, and they're selling the Captain America #1 on the newsstands like they did, that was their intention originally, which is so funny. It's like, and it's so funny that they're selling the Captain America comic book inside the Captain America movie, like the original one, actually sold really well. Like they sold millions of those. The original Captain America comic, with him punching Hitler in the jaw. I just thought that was the funniest in joke, and it's only on screen for like a few seconds. So you could miss it. You could miss it totally, or you could just say, "Ooh, look, comic book." But I actually saw on the cover they had the Hitler punching. Yeah, I saw the cover. I'm like, oh, that's so funny. It's like I just found that very hilarious. Like I knew what they were going for there, and I think they just nailed it. What else? Yeah, I saw Captain America. I want to see 30 Minutes or Less. That looks like a fun movie. I want to see Fright Night because I do hate Twilight, and this really does seem like it's like the vampire movie that is for people who don't like Twilight because they make fun of Twilight in the movie and whatnot. And I like that line where they're like, oh yeah, a vampire can't get in the house unless you invite him in, and then he just burns down the house. He's like, yeah, I don't need an invitation if there's no house. I messed up the delivery, but it was just so awesome the way he delivers that line. It's just like, I don't need an invitation if there's no house. Like it was so good. It actually seems like a bunch of cool actors. I want to see if they all get killed at the end or whatever. There was this other movie besides Planet of the Apes that was on the previews at Captain America. It was like this movie called Contagion. It's a really freaky movie. Like it's about this bird flu disease that wipes out the human race, and they transfer it by touch. and whatever, and like no one is able to escape the disease, and then all these crazy people, they quarantine everything, and it's like a disaster movie, but with like, you know, yeah, it's a disaster movie, but with like, a disease instead of like a natural disaster. It's like really scary, psychologically. It's obviously like very frightening to just think about that scenario, but it's very possible, and that's why I'm afraid mostly of like, um, you know, biological warfare, because that kind of stuff can happen, and then it can destroy us all. And the only reason I want to see that movie is because I want to see if everyone lives or not. I mean, they obviously won't because they show a bunch of people dying to the disease. But I'm saying, you want to see a happy ending. But I have a feeling it won't be a happy ending, which makes sense. I really like the idea of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I didn't talk about the Tim Burton movie because I just saw it yesterday. I really don't like it, honestly. I just don't. I like the references to the original movie, like the like when he gets out of the truck and then he grabs the ape's leg and he's like, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty human! Get your filthy hands off me, you damn dirty human!" I thought that was a funny line, but only because of the first movie. You wouldn't think it was funny if it wasn't like a pop culture reference. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't make sense on its own. And that's why the funniest parts of the movie, for me, were the references to the original movie, which is kind of ironic, because it seems like then, the original movie, I think, is better than, obviously, the 2001 remake. I thought the plastic masks, they used were really cool. The CG for Rise of the Planet of the Apes looks perfect, honestly, to capture the apes. I think that would be the best way to do it if they ever make a sequel to that movie. See, because in 2001, Tim Burton remade Planet of the Apes, the original 1968 one. But, there were some things he changed, and, some of the things were good, like, they actually had it set in, like, a jungle, instead of, like, and part of a desert, instead of just all desert the whole movie, which was kind of interesting. But the whole point of the Planet of the Apes was that the humanity destroyed itself during the like nuclear wars and whatnot. So that kind of ruins that message. Actually, I didn't even think of it that way. Like putting it in a jungle kind of ruins the message of like the humans are going to destroy themselves, and it ruins kind of the message of the movie. It kind of ruins one of the themes of the movie, and it's kind of sad because you lose that aspect of it, and there's really no memorable characters. Like I remember all the characters from the original Apes. Like I remember Dr. Zaius. I remember Cornelius and Zira, and I remember I know them because I watched like 5 movies with them. But even if I saw the first movie, they're more memorable characters than all the schlock characters. Because the stupid thing they did with the new the old new, because it's 2001. The old new remake of the Planet of the Apes. They made like all these wacky characters just team up with the party. It's like they're forming some kind of RPG group. It's like, oh, you got the ape who likes humans, you got the crazy ape who wants to sell the humans, and he was actually pretty funny. He reminds me a little bit of the Joker if he was an ape. I said to myself, if the Joker was an ape, that'd probably be who he would seem like. I don't know who played that ape, but he did a very good job of acting, and he was probably the best character in the movie. Yes, even compared to like, yeah, no, he was the straight up the best character in the movie because there's the bad ape his name I actually remember is General Thade, and he's the only one I remember because he was like the most memorable character, but in like the wrong way. Because he has this like he's like one of those characters who's like I don't know if there's a TV tropes for this or anything, but he's like one of those characters who's obviously evil, like Xehanort. Like in Xehanort in Birth by Sleep, he's evil just by the sound of his voice and the way he looks and whatnot. Like that's one of these guys. He's just like obviously evil. The stupid thing about him is that they don't even kill him at the end. He just ends up getting locked behind like a bulletproof door inside like this spaceship. And I was like, you know what? You didn't kill him, and guess what? He takes over the Earth at the end. Like, it's really weird. At the end of the movie, they show, him and the apes rule the world again, but it's like modern Washington D.C. or something. And they show all these like ape cops, like these apes in like police uniforms, come out and like surround the main character. Like immediately, like there are like 50. Suddenly there are like 50 cars surrounding the whole place. I mean, sure, he did crash his spaceship into the thing, but seriously, like, they mobilize pretty damn fast. I swear, like, they're just there in like an instant. It's so I can't believe it. Like, literally, I can't. So I really didn't like that movie because they make the characters so forgettable. It's just, it's not, it doesn't work. Like, for some reason, I just love the characters in the original Apes because they were like interesting. Like Zaius, he knows like when they captured Landon, who's like because there were actually three astronauts, but two of them died. Like he like took out Landon's brain. He lobotomized him because he knew he could speak, and he didn't want the intelligent humans to survive. So he just took out his brain, and I felt really bad for Landon, and I felt really bad for Taylor, who's the main astronaut, because his friend just got killed, and Dodge, who's the other astronaut, he got like they probably didn't even know he could speak, but he was sent to a museum, as an attraction, like the Natural Museum of History. He was like gutted, and he was like put in a museum, and they stuffed him or something, and they just put him in a museum. And I feel bad because like those were the only two people he knew. You know, not really knew, but like the only characters in the movie, and they're already dead. Like that's how you make a movie. You just like you add the tension. Like I love how Zaius is just like, Taylor's about to go to the Forbidden City, and Zaius knows about all this human stuff, like the Planet of the Apes is, where humans used to be. He knows this. He pretty much knows this stuff, or it's implied that he knows this stuff. And then he can pick it up, or don't, whatever. It's implied he knows this stuff, and he tells Taylor, like as he's leaving, you won't like what you find, and that's when he sees the Statue of Liberty, which was a great scene. And I love there was this line I found on Wikipedia that Charlton Heston, when he said the line like, God damn you all to hell when he sees the Statue of Liberty, he's like, they wanted to remove it because of the ratings, but he was like, I think it works because he's not saying it like figuratively, he's like literally damning the humans to hell because, they created this nuclear war and they blew up the Statue of Liberty, because everyone thinks it's the apes that destroyed the Statue of Liberty, but I think what the movie is really trying to say was it was the humans who blew up their own city. It wasn't the apes at all. The apes didn't do anything. It was the humans who destroyed everything, and the apes are trying to live peacefully in their own, like, city and whatnot. And I feel really bad because the humans just end up destroying everything, and the bomb they made destroys the Earth. And it's a really good movie. Like honestly, I know why it's a classic, because it's a good movie. The same reason like Star Wars is a classic movie, because it's a good movie. Same reason why Raiders of the Lost Ark is a good movie. Big classic movie is because it's a good movie. They're all good movies. However, the 2001 Tim Burton remake, while it made money, was not a good movie, and I'm pretty sure they saw that, and they were, originally because of the ending. The ending is like where they have the ape cops and whatever, and the apes rule the earth, even though Taylor went back in time, or forward, whatever he did. I don't remember. I mean, yeah, he went. It's weird. He goes into like this, he's an astronaut too, just like Taylor. So he goes into, but not like Taylor at all. He's just not cool. I mean, sure, yeah, Charlton Heston spends the whole movie with his shirt off. If Marky Mark did that, maybe it'd be more interesting. I'm sorry, no, that's my mom talking, because whenever she sees Mark Wahlberg, she thinks of, like, Marky Mark when he was a rapper. It was funny, we actually saw a documentary on him on 60 Minutes before we watched the movie. And so I learned about him as, like, the 2001 movie is just terrible. Like, the makeup is better, but, there is some interesting things that Tim Burton added to, like, the series. Like, for example, the apes, when they fight, they attack like apes. Like, they'll literally jump on, when they're fighting, they're gonna jump on you, and they're going to, like, rip you apart and crack your neck, and, like, I think that was interesting. I still liked it better when they fought like apes with, guns. I think both adaptations are interesting ways of looking at it, but I like Tim Burton's way of thinking about it, that, if apes were fighting you, they they don't really use weapons. They're strong enough with their bare hands. They'll just jump on you and they'll maul you to death. It looks kind of lame when you look at it, but it's kind of cool when you actually think about it, because it's more realistic than just apes holding guns. I mean, then again, it's a science fiction movie, but I think it's more putting a realistic twist on the science fiction. And I think that's what Planet of the Apes is, because we are probably going to destroy ourselves in the future, and that apes probably are the second smartest thing, so they'll probably end up evolving into super apes, which I wouldn't really mind. Super apes, cool. I mean, sure, we'll be abused, but I'll probably be dead by then. Suck it. Suck it, all you future humans. Yeah. So yeah, my camera got broken, so I can't really record myself, but I can still record these because I still have Camtasia, so yay. Next video I'm going to talk about War Machine. I'm probably just going to go through the book. I'll start doing War Machine vlogs and stuff like that. And I'll do some Fire Emblem stuff too, so that's what I'm going to be doing.